Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Yes, I have on the same shirt because it's the same day from the last video. But I wanted to come on here because I want to talk to you all about something that has been on my spirit since for about a year now. And I know that I should have talked about this a while ago. Um, but here we are. So first and foremost, this video is going to be about how God blessed both me and Dee to move out without meeting the necessary requirements to move out. Now, before before I even thought about moving out, I used to watch these videos about girls who used to talk about how God blessed them to move out with no money, and I used to be like, okay, what I'm saying, let me see what I can do. And there was a point where I was like, okay, I can do this, but I never made the move. I never I never brought myself to a point to say, okay, let me actually go to an apartment, see which one I like, and actually apply. You know what I'm saying? So when I was 27 years old, going on 28, November 25th, 2023, is when I turned 28. But before then, I was in Vietnam for what, 4 months? I think it was about 4 months. And while I was out there, I just told myself when I get back home, I'm not staying where I'm staying at and I'm moving out. That was like my whole motive when I got back home. And I used to just sit in the bed late at night while the windows was wide open and I was looking up at this, view in this high rise building where my dad done stayed. And I was like, God, this is what I'm asking you for. Like, I need this. And sometimes it's so hard when you are just asking for something. You're like, okay, who am I asking? You know what I'm saying? Who am I talking to? Who am I asking? And how is this going to happen from something that I cannot see, something I cannot touch, somebody I can't, actually physically see? And we have to understand that when it comes to God, that God is a God that can move mountains for you, we are created. The way our minds work, the way our body is wired, our veins, our nervous system, all the way down to sperm cells, like everything, creation, life should be enough to tell you that there is a God and God does exist. And things that we cannot fathom, some of these stuff are actually happening. So, me as the positive person that I am, I always am just like, I'm gonna go do what I say I'm gonna do. So I'm sitting here in the bed in Vietnam at like 4 something in the morning. I'm like, God, I gotta move out. I need this, I need that. Like, this is what I need. And I was just like giving a whole list of everything that I needed. So I got back to America. I think it was September, like the middle of September. And I was just like in that bedroom and I don't know. I was just feeling so unfulfilled and I felt so sad because I'm like, God, I asked you for a new place. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I'm still here. I'm still here, like what's up with that? And that's when I was like, I want to do a 3 day water fast. No, not I don't know if it was a 3 day water fast or not. I think it was a 3 day water fast. But when I fast for something. I don't just fast to lose weight or none of that. That comes with it. But when I fasted for this time, I fasted to actually move out. That was my intentions. So me and Dee were on the phone. This was probably like, I think it was like October had just started. And so I'm sitting there like, D, these apartments only cost such and such, you know what I'm saying? And I was telling him, is it 2 bedrooms, 2 bathroom? Like we can afford it. He's like, yeah, we can afford that. Cool. And he's like, all you gotta do is get a job. Both of us have a job, and then we can start, looking around. But me, I'm like, I don't want to depend on money to like help me get into an apartment. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I want to depend on God because I don't know, it was something deep down in me that wanted proof. Something deep down in me that was like, if I do this with money or something else that I feel I've done it, I'm not gonna believe. So I was like, I have to do it based off of God. So it's so funny because the way things were working out was just hilarious. So boom, came into $1,200. Didn't have to do anything. All I did was file a claim on one of my credit cards because I didn't have a job at the time. But I filed a claim and they gave me back pay of $1,200. Boom. I applied to the apartment, and in the apartment, everything ended up coming up to about 1,200. That was for the sign on or the application fee, some other stuff. And then on top of that, once well, I'll get into the approval part later, but I forgot what other it seemed like all the fees before the actual initial rent was due, I was able to cover it with the 1,200 that I miraculously came into. So I'm sitting here like, God, I'm applying, right? I'm applying to this apartment complex. I apply, and it gets to a part where it's like my name, and it's like, what is your job? How much do you make? Every apartment's like 3 months rent. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to put? This is not gonna make sense. So I let it sit for like a day. I had closed the computer, put it to the side, and I just was like, God, I want to move out, but like I don't have the funds to do this. So what am I supposed to do? And it just felt like I wasn't getting any answers, and I don't know. It was like I didn't have any faith at all. I just started losing faith. And then I started back reading my Bible and started praying again and just was like grateful. Then I started visualizing being in the space and like, oh my gosh. I asked myself one night, I was like, what would it feel like if you actually did wake up in your own spot? Like, how would that actually feel? And I caught that feeling and I just tried to hold on to it. But for some reason, when I'm manifesting, I like feeling is there and then like it's like, poof, and it's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Like, wait a minute. Let me grasp all this feeling and hold it back again. Like, wait a second. But no, like it takes time to like focus in on the feeling. But I came back to it. I think this was the last day that I was fasting because I did a 3-day water fast. So on day 3, I actually was folding clothes. And I told myself, I was like, you know what? I opened the computer and I just stopped folding clothes and I was like, God, I asked you for this, and I know that when I ask you for something, I know that you're gonna help me. And if this isn't for me, then it just won't be for me. Cool. So I just applied. Like I started filling it out. They asked me how much did I make at work. I put 0. They asked me for pay stubs for both me and Dee. I put my pay stubs, mind you, like I didn't have a job all that year or the year before. So like your girl wasn't getting no income. But my credit score was still A1. Credit score is A1. So I'm like, okay, my credit score is good, but I don't have a job and I'm not making 3 times the rent. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm reading what are the necessary requirements, and I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. It was so funny because we came to view the apartments, and I was sitting there like, yeah, there's no way. I'm like, oh, we're thinking about next year because they asked us, and this was 2023. Where we were thinking about next year, maybe like May or something. No, Didn't work out that way. So I'm gonna try to speed this up. So we ended up going back home, and this was fast forward. I'm doing the laundry. I'm folding the clothes. I'm getting everything ready, or whatever, whatever. And then once I fill out, put like I don't have a job. I put my pay stubs. Like I'm just moving. I'm just like, let me just do it. Like, what else can I do except do it? So I was just filling everything out. I did these pay stubs, mines, and I prayed over it before I take it off because I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. So I was like, God, if this is for me, if this is supposed to work out, it'll work out. And if it doesn't, it won't. I hit send it off, and I kid you not, within about, I want to say probably like less than 5 minutes, I get a phone call from them. And I'm over here like heart bumping out of my chest. My heart is bumping out of my chest. But then like I came to a point of like, okay, let me calm down. Because she was like, hey, this is such and such from point, blah, blah, blah. And I just wanted to say, you've been approved. And when I say I started laughing, I couldn't do anything but smile and laugh because I was like, how? How? You're supposed to have 3 times the rent. You're supposed to be having a job. You're supposed to, you know what I'm saying? Like all this stuff. And I was like, I don't meet the requirements, but God, when God is involved, the requirements will always be met. Let me say that one more time. When God is involved, the requirement will always be met. No matter what their requirement is, you gotta understand that God is over all humans, right? Not trying to go into like some mythological thing here, but like God is over like we're all humans. You have the creator, you have the humans. You can't tell me that this human being that God created is gonna put up these rules and God's gonna be like, oh, I have to buy him. No. If I need my child to be here, I'm gonna put my child here. Period. So ended up getting approved, and then like she sent me over all this other stuff that we had to pay for, and I was like, oh crap. What is this? I didn't know what to expect because this was my first time applying to an apartment. But I started seeing all these numbers flying, and I'm just like, yo, I thought we were done. Not at all. Not at all. So I told D how much everything costs, and I'm pretty sure he had damn near sent my heart attack. He was the only one working at the time, and I can't express enough how much I thank him for keeping it together. Because he really, really helped. Like we both did our part, but he really helped. And so he paid for the first month's rent, and then we ended up using the free month rent for the next month because we had a free month. And then I'm gonna get into it. But when I say God is good, God is good. I had ended up doing another fast. For some reason, I feel like when I fast, things happen, things move for me. And I feel like fasting is something that just, it connects my belief for some odd reason. I don't know how there's a connection between fasting and belief for me. But I no longer really need to fast to believe. I believe and that all things can work out the way that you expect them to. And it's so funny because I'm sitting here right now, I'm just like, everything's gonna work out the way that I'm like hoping for it to work out because God has me. Hey, nobody can stop me. Boom. So this is November. Like we actually moved in on November 1st. And like I said, all this stuff was happening and we had 2 weeks to get our lives together. When I say 2 weeks, 2 weeks to get like 1,800 and some extra change together. And let me tell you the truth. We came up with everything. We had all the money that we needed, figured it all out, and here we are a year later. But before that, so December, the next month, I ended up getting a job. And then 3 months later from that, I ended up getting a better job. So when I tell you God will work it out, God will work it out. You can't see the future, but God will work it out. So whatever it is that you are hoping for, whatever it is that you're wanting, He will work it out. But the story is not finished, because guess what? I had wanted to move on the third floor. I wanted to say third story. I had wanted to move on the third story, and D wanted to be on the first floor. The first apartment that we were in, crazy 4-year-old child above us running something. And I was like, oh no, I can't do it. Couldn't do it. We ended up calling the front desk, trying to, we went through this whole thing for probably like 4 months, about 4 months before actually moving out of that apartment. And before we moved out, I was like, God, I asked you to be on the third floor. Like, I asked you to have a nice apartment and enjoy being here, but this does not feel enjoyable. Like, I'm stressed out with this child. I can't sleep. I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm dealing with all this crap. And it's so funny because all that was to get us to where we actually wanted to be. Ended up filing a report, and one of the girls that were in the front, she ended up saying, like, you guys are still going through this, like, let me show you. And we were like, can we look at the apartment that we want to move to? So they did a transfer for us. We got to move from our first floor apartment for free into a third floor brand new unit apartment. That was another thing. I was like, God, I want this apartment to be brand new. That apartment was used. It was on the first floor. It was messed up. The neighbors over there were wilding. Let me tell you something. When God says He's going to do something, He's going to do it, even when it looked like it's not working out. God will always move. He will always make it work for you. So that's my story for tonight. I hope that this story is motivational enough or inspirational enough for you to make a move on whatever it is that you want to do. When you keep God involved, and when you actually stop trying to impress people and do things out of love, and do things because, oh, this is what I really truly want to do, everything unfolds for you in the way that it's supposed to. So don't try to sit up there and try to do something to impress people. The whole key to it is to do something that you love. And when you do something that you love, it's gonna work out. And when you ask God for something, when you pray for something, just know in your heart, you gotta know in your heart that there's a bigger power at work here. And you have to trust and know and believe that, yes, this is going to work out. And even when it don't work out, you still believe that it's going to work out. Look, I can't say anything else. I just wanted to say this real quick. I just wanted to get this off my chest because it's been on my chest for a while now. And I was supposed to do the video like a year ago. I told God, I was like, I'm going to do this video because this is my testimony. Moving out with no money. Like, come on. Not everybody can do that in this economy. Not everybody can, but we did it and we pushed through and we still here and we're building up the apartment. I mean, like, this room was dead empty. This was our only couch and this was given to us. Nobody, we didn't have a couch. We didn't have anything to sit on. We were sleeping on a air mattress for like 2 or 3 months, maybe even longer than that. But we were sleeping on the air mattress. Air mattress kept getting hold, and then we got an actual mattress, and then we were still sleeping on the floor, and then we finally got a bed frame, and we finally got a couch, and like things just started falling into place. So you got to understand that everything has a journey, everything has its time. So don't stress yourself. And just know that God is going to make it all work for you. You got to also move according to what you're trying to do. You can't say, oh God, I want an apartment, and then don't move. What, you think He's going to just plop it in your face? No, you got to go out there. You got to go find it, apply, and allow God to bless something that you're doing. He can't bless nothing. So I hope you guys have a wonderful, beautiful night. Thank you for watching. And that's it. Bye.